Good day, students. You are welcome to Basic Science class, and today we'll be looking at sand. Sand. Now, to start with, let us define sand energy. What is sand energy? Sand energy is a form of energy which is produced when two objects vibrate. That is, when two objects are set into vibration, the energy that is produced is referred to as sand energy. In other words, when an object comes in contact with another object and then they are set into vibration, the energy that comes from that vibration is referred to as sand energy. Now, let us look at the sources of sand, where sands come from, where they originate from. Sources of sand include various musical instruments, as we all know, that produce sounds. And examples of these instruments can be: one, percussion instruments. For percussion instruments, we have drums and xylophones as examples of percussion instruments. Another one is wind instruments, which can be pipe, organ, or clarinet. Also, we have stringed instruments, e.g. guitar and violin. So, we have been given three examples of sources of sound. Sources of sound can come from percussion instruments or wind instruments or stringed instruments. This is very important, note it. Also, we also want to look at transmission of sound, or what we call transfer of sound. It's important to know that for sound to be heard, it must have passed through a medium. So, definitely there must be a source, there must be a medium, and there must be a receiver. For sound to travel, these major things are important: the source, the medium, and the receiver. The source is the body which produces the sound. That is, the medium that produces the sound is called the source. Number two, the medium. The medium can be referred to as the material through which sound can travel. The material through which sound can be propagated, or the material through which sound can travel, is referred to as the medium. And lastly, we have the receiver. This is the body that receives the sound energy. The body that receives the sound energy. Because it is important for us to know that energy is being transferred. Energy is transferred from one source to another. So the body that receives the energy, in the case of sound energy now, is referred to as the receiver. Also, let's see the properties of sound. Properties of sound. Just as we have it even for light, we know we have reflection of light, we have refraction, we have diffraction of light. The same way we have it for sound also. Sound can be reflected, sound can be refracted, it can be diffracted, and also there can be interference of sound, which is also known as superimposition of sound. Sound is reflected when there is sending back of sound wave to opposite direction when it hits an obstacle. In other words, reflection can be defined as the sending back of sound wave to opposite direction when it hits an obstacle. Number two, refraction. Refraction is the bending of the direction of travel of the sound wave away from the normal. And this always happens when there is a change in medium of propagation of the sound energy. For instance, when we have a sound that is coming from, take for instance, an air medium to a water medium, we can see that the density of the medium is different. The relative density are quite different. So there is going to be a change, and that change, that property of change, is referred to as refraction of sound energy. So refraction of sound energy, as I have said, is the bending of the direction of travel of the sound wave away from the normal as a result of the difference in densities of the different medium. Alright, number 3 property of sound is diffraction. Diffraction can be defined as the spreading, sometimes we call it the scattering, the spreading of wave at the edges of obstacles. That is why we hear sound around corners. You just keep hearing sound around corners. That's actually different from echo anyways. So when there is a spreading of wave at the edges of obstacles, it is referred to as diffraction or scattering of sound energy. And lastly, the number 4 property of sound wave is referred to as interference or superposition. This is the combination of waves to give a larger or smaller waves, as the case may be. You see, for interference or for what we call superimposition, it could be constructive and it could be destructive. When you have 2 waves, or when you have 2 sound waves coming together to form a stronger wave, a bigger wave, then that is constructive interference. But when they come together and one tends to terminate the effect or reduce the energy of the other sound wave, then it is destructive interference. So, in one word, interference or superposition can be defined as the combination of waves to give either a smaller or a larger wave, as the case may be. Alright, there are also some salient points that we need to note in this class. Sound travels at the speed of 330 meters per second or 1150 kilometers per second. When we now compare this speed of sound with that of the speed of light, light travels at a speed of 300,000 kilometers per second. Now, this is to tell to us that the speed of light is higher than the speed of sound. And an example that corroborates that is what is obtainable in thunder and lightning. Whenever there is thunder, what comes first is the lightning. That's to tell you that the speed of light is actually higher and it is more than the speed of sound. So it is after you have seen the light that you now hear the sound of the thunder. Alright. Again, sound requires a material medium like air, water, metal. When there is clamping of metal, as long as the metal keeps vibrating internally, there will be propagation of sound. The waves of the sound will keep being sent and people can keep hearing it as long as there is still vibration in the metal. So sound requires a material medium to be propagated or to be conveyed. But when it comes to light does not require a material medium to travel. In other words, light travels by vacuum. For instance, the radiation of the sun to the earth. The coming of the sun, the rays of light from the sun to the earth is by vacuum. Light does not need to be propagated through metal. It does not need to be propagated through water or whatever. So it can travel on its own. That is very, very important. Alright, a brief recap of what we have learned today. We have defined sound energy as the energy that is produced when 2 objects vibrate. Also, we have said that there are we have mentioned 3 sources of sound, 3 sources of sound. We have mentioned the percussion instruments, we have mentioned the wind instruments, and also the stringed instruments. Also, we said that there are three major things required for sound to be propagated. There must be a source, there must be a medium, and there must be a receiver. If there is a source and there is no medium, it means that that energy is going to be terminated. So it means that sound cannot be propagated. So lastly, there are three things required. Those I have said earlier. We have the receiver, we have the medium, and we have the source. The source, the medium, and the receiver. So you are going to have these as assignments for this class. You are to state three characteristics of sound. You are also to state three properties of sound. And lastly, you are to state three sources of sound. Three characteristics of sound, three properties of sound, and three sources of sound. Thank you. Have a nice day.